Let me share something simple, but powerful. Most people talk too much about what they're going to do, what they plan to build, what they'll start someday. But someday never comes. You see, don't just say it, show it. Don't just promise. Prove it. Talk is cheap. Action is expensive. And only action changes your life. I used to be one of those people. I talked a lot, made big plans, told everyone what I was going to do. But I didn't do it. Not consistently. Not seriously. Then one day I learned the truth. You don't get paid for intentions. You get paid for results. You don't move forward by telling the world. You move forward by telling yourself and then doing the work. The world is filled with noise, social media, coffee shop conversations, meeting rooms packed with big ideas. But the real builders, they speak less and they do more. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Not chatter, not promises. Discipline. So if you're ready to shift your life, if you're tired of just dreaming and you want to start doing, then I invite you to walk with me through this message. We'll uncover the mindset, the attitude, and the habits of those who speak little but achieve much. This isn't just about working hard. It's about working wisely and staying quiet until your results make the noise for you. Let's begin. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Talking is easy. Action, that's the challenge. Most people don't fail because they lack ambition. They fail because they never begin. They confuse talking with doing. They confuse announcing with accomplishing. You see, don't let your mouth overload your back. I remember saying things I wasn't prepared to live. Big goals, big plans, all talk. But here's the truth. Life doesn't reward you for what you say. It rewards you for what you do. There's a kind of danger in always talking about your dreams because it feels like progress. It sounds like momentum. But it isn't. You say you're going to start the business, write the book, change your life. But nothing happens. A week goes by, then a month, then a year. Why? Because too much talking gives you a false sense of accomplishment. You feel good. You feel motivated. But nothing has moved. It's like sitting in a rocking chair. A lot of movement, but you're not going anywhere. Talking becomes a trap, a warm blanket. It gives the illusion that you're already on your way. But let me tell you something. You can't hire someone else to do your push-ups for you. You can't talk your way to health or wealth or success. You've got to do the work. I used to go to meetings and talk about all my ideas, what I was going to build, how I was going to grow. People would nod. I'd leave feeling proud. But deep down, I knew nothing had really changed until one day I realized I was addicted to talking and allergic to execution. And that's when it hit me. All the great people I studied, the ones who had built real success, they weren't the loudest in the room. In fact, they were usually quiet, focused, disciplined. They didn't need to talk about what they were doing. They were doing it. So I made a decision to speak less and do more, to spend less time planning in public and more time building in private. It wasn't easy because silence can feel lonely when no one's clapping for you, when no one sees the late nights, the quiet mornings, the work behind the scenes. But that's where success is built. In silence, in discipline, in action. Let me tell you something else. When you stop talking so much, two things happen. First, you gain focus. Your energy returns to what matters, doing the work. Second, your words carry more weight. Because when you do speak, it's backed by proof. You don't need to convince people. Your results speak for themselves. Results are the best proof of sincerity. So the next time you feel like talking about your big dreams, pause. Ask yourself, have I taken action today? Did I move the needle forward? Did I put something into motion? If not, don't speak. Work. Let your sweat speak. Let your habits speak. Let your consistency speak. Because at the end of the day, people remember what you built, not what you talked about. So here's the challenge. Start small. Stay quiet and do the work. Because while others are talking, you'll be building. I learned something very early in life. Silence is a strength. It's not weakness. It's not shyness. It's power. Most people don't know that. They think if you're not loud, you're not confident. If you're not visible, you're not working. But that's not true. Work hard in silence. Let success make the noise. Let me tell you what I've learned from watching successful people. Truly successful people. They aren't trying to impress you. They aren't broadcasting their every move. They aren't standing on a stage telling the world what they plan to do. They're in the shadows. Quiet. Disciplined. Focused. They know something most people don't. You don't get stronger by being seen. You get stronger by working when no one is watching. I remember a young man coming to me once. He was full of dreams, full of ambition. He said, "Mr. Ron, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be big. I've told everyone. I'm posting about it every day." And I said to him, "That's wonderful. But tell Meg, what have you done today?" He paused. You see, it's not what you talk about that creates change. It's what you build when no one's looking. It's the effort in silence. It's the practice in private. Greatness doesn't need applause. It needs discipline. The farmer doesn't brag about the seeds he plants. He just tills the soil, waters the crops, and trusts the harvest will come. That's the mindset of a quiet worker. They're not loud, but they're dangerous. Because every day they're building something real. The few who are the envy of the many who only talk. You see, the problem with being loud is this: it creates pressure. It invites distraction. And worst of all, it satisfies your ego just enough to stop the real work. When you keep it quiet, something magical happens. You stay focused. You stay grounded. You stay hungry. You don't have to tell the world what you're doing. You just keep doing it. When I was brokey, when I was failing, I stopped telling people about what I was going to do. And I started doing what needed to be done. Quietly, consistently, relentlessly. No announcements, no updates, just work. And when things started to change, when results showed up, people noticed, not because I told them, but because they could see it. That's the power of silent effort. So my friend, here's my challenge for you. Stop chasing applause. Stop craving attention. Stop announcing your moves before you make them. Get quiet. Get focused. Because when you build in the shadows, your results don't need introduction. They walk into the room before you say a word. Let's go deeper. When you work in silence, you build character. When you work in silence, you grow confidence. When you work in silence, you develop discipline. Because it's not about who's watching. It's about who you're becoming. You don't owe anyone a show. You owe yourself a legacy. So tomorrow, don't talk about the gym. Go to the gym. Don't post about the business. Build the business. Don't promise change. Be the change. Let silence be your armor. Let results be your voice. Because in the shadows, you shape your destiny. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Excuses sound best to the person who's making them. But action speaks louder than any story you could ever tell. You see, the world doesn't judge you by your intentions. It judges you by your results. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you've done. I once met a man who told me all the reasons why his business hadn't worked: the economy, his neighbors, his friends, his cat. He had a story for everything, but not one result. Not one. And I told him something that changed my life when I was younger. You can have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both. Results don't lie. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care how good your ideas are. They don't care how long you've been trying. They only care about one thing. Did you do the work? Not talk about it. Not plan it. Did you do it? People ask me, "Jim, what's the secret? What's the formula?" And I say it's simple. Not easy, but simple. Discipline, consistency, and action. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Not once a month. Not when you feel like it. Every day. You don't build a reputation on what you're going to do. You build it on what you actually do. If your life isn't where you want it to be, don't make another excuse. Make a change. If your bank account isn't where it should be, don't blame the taxes. Don't blame pick up a book. Start a side hustle. Learn a skill. Sell something. But do something. Action is the only proof of belief. If I could whisper one message into your ear every morning, it would be this: do it anyway. Tired, do it anyway. Afraid it anyway. Doubtful, do it anyway. Because winners don't wait for the perfect moment. They act. They build momentum. They learn as they go. Now, let's be honest, you won't always get it right. You'll make mistakes. You'll fall short. But here's the beauty. Mistakes in motion are better than perfection in theory. At least you're moving. At least you're growing. At least you're in the game. Excuses, they keep you comfortable. They keep you still. But action gets you uncomfortable. And that's where life changes. So today, don't ask for motivation. Don't look for inspiration. Do one thing. Even if it's small, even if it's quiet, do it. Then do it again tomorrow. Affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. So affirm your goals, but follow them with relentless discipline. Remember this, my friend, if your actions today are the seeds of your tomorrow, you want a better life. Don't talk it into existence. Work it into existence. Let your results be the loudest part of you. Let your efforts speak when your mouth stays quiet, because at the end of the day, it's not what you say. It's what you do that builds the life you want. Let me tell you something that most people never figure out. The magic is not in the event. It's in the process. It's not the speech, not the seminar, not the excitement of day one. It's in what you do the next day, and the next, and the one after that. Consistency is more powerful than hype. And let me explain why. I used to think success came from big moves, from breakthroughs, from massive changes. But that's not how it works. Success doesn't shout. It whispers. It shows up quietly, when you've shown up daily. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. Now that's one of my favorite ideas, because it reminds us, it's not about complexity. It's about doing the simple things over and over and over. Let me give you an example. You decide to get in shape, so you hit the gym for 3 hours on Monday. You're pumped-motivated, inspired. But Tuesday, when sore, you're tired. By Thursday, you're making excuses. And by Friday, you've quit. Now compare that to the man who goes for a 30-minute walk every day. Rain or shine, no drama, no hype, just consistency. You come back a year later, and guess what? The walker wins. Every time. Don't confuse movement with progress. Don't confuse excitement with discipline. What matters is what you can repeat, what you can build into your life, what you can commit to when the mood is gone. Anyone can act when they're inspired, but what you do when the feeling wears off, that's the test. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And discipline is built in the process, in the routine, in the rhythm of daily effort. Let me ask you something. Are your habits taking you closer to your goals or further away? Because every day you're voting with your actions toward success or toward regret. The results don't come all at once, but they do come. You don't read a book and become a genius. You read 10 pages a day. You take notes. You reflect. And then you do it again tomorrow. You don't save a fortune with one paycheck. You save a little, you invest a little, you wait, you trust, you repeat. That's the secret. Small things, done daily, on purpose. People say, Jim, I want big change. And I say, you want big results? Then master small disciplines. The moment you understand that, your life begins to shift. Let me share something personal. When I was brokey, when I had pennies in my pocket and nothing in the bank, I didn't wait for luck. I didn't wait for some big opportunity to fall into my lap. I got serious. I picked up books. I took notes. I built habits. I deciding I'll do what I can, where I am with what I've got. And I'll do it again tomorrow. That's how it starts. You see, success is not for the lucky. It's not for the talented. It's for the consistent. Motivation gets you started. Habit keeps you going. So let me ask, what do you do when no one's watching? What do you repeat when there's no applause? What do you prioritize when it's boring and hard? That's where success lies, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of daily discipline. It's not the one great day that makes you. It's the 1,000 average days you didn't quit. So don't chase hype. Chase consistency. Don't wait for the spark. Become the flame. Create a schedule. Stick to it. Show up every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one sees it, because you see it, and your future self will thank you for it. So here's your challenge. Pick 3 habits. Simple ones. Maybe it's reading 10 pages. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's planning your day. Whatever it is, start and then repeat it and then repeat it again. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build belief. That's how you build success. One day at a time. One choice at a time. One step at a time. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Build the perfect rhythm. Because in the end, success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And you become that person by mastering the process. Now, let me share something with you. You don't have to tell the world what you're doing. You just have to do it. You don't have to post it. You don't have to announce it. You don't need a parade every time you make a move. Just make the move. Because eventually, your results will speak for themselves. I meet people who say, Jim, I've got big plans. And I say, that's nice, but let me see the progress. Because here's the truthing: plans are not accomplishments. Dreams are not results. It's the work, the quiet, steady work done behind the scenes that builds a future worth living. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you've done. That's a philosophy to live by. Because anyone can say they're committed. Anyone can say they're serious. But the proof is always in the outcome. You don't need to convince people you're working. When the time is right, they'll see it. I used to walk into rooms and try to impress people. Now, I walk in and let my life do the talking. Work hard in silence. Let success make the noise. That's not just a quote. It's a principle, a way of living. And I promise you, it works. Success has a sound. It's the sound of someone asking, how did you do it? It's the sound of someone watching you, not because you bragged it, because you built. You see, if you're constantly talking, you're not building. If you're constantly showing off, you're not sharpening your skills. Real builders are too focused to broadcast, too busy crafting something real. Let me ask you something important. Do you want attention or do you want achievement? Because there's a difference. Attention feels good, but it doesn't last. Achievement, that sticks. That changes your life. You can't deposit applause, but you can deposit results. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't show up on day one. It shows up after months, maybe years of quiet effort, little wins, little choices, stacked daily. And then one day people look up and say, wow, where did you come from? But you didn't come from nowhere. You came from consistency, from patience, from grit. One of the greatest compliments I ever received was this: Jim, you didn't talk your way to success, you worked your way there. And I'll tell you something, that means more than a round of applause, because applause fades. But legacy, that lasts. If you want to rise, here's what you don't stop announcing. Start executing. Stop showing off. Start showing up. Stop explaining. Let your results explain. Let your habits do the talking. Let your schedule speak. Let your transformed life deliver the message. Because if you stay consistent long enough, people will ask how you did it. And you can say, I kept quiet and I kept moving. Think about the farmer. He doesn't scream at the soil. He plants, he waters, and one day harvest. But it starts with quiet work, invisible work. So don't be afraid to be unseen for a season. That season is sacred. That's where you're becoming. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because if you become more, you'll attract more. Not by shouting, not by demanding, but by becoming. Success is not about the noise you make. It's about the life you live. So here's my challenge to you. Do the work and let the world find out later. Let your future speak. Let your growth speak. Let your bank account speak. Let your character speak. And let your results echo louder than any announcement ever could. And remember, you don't have to shout when your life is the loudest thing in the room. Because when your actions are aligned with your goals, when your habits reflect your vision, and when your results begin to multiply, you'll realize you never had to say a word. Let your success speak, and the world will listen. So my friend, speak less, do more. Let your actions carry the message. Let your results write the story. Because in the end, the quiet ones build empires. Now go out there and let your success do the talking.